The light of Christ. And let your light so shine before others that they may see your good works and give glory to our Father in heaven. You've heard those words, haven't you? The light of Christ. Every Easter Sunday, as we begin our service, we process down the aisle carrying this candle, and 3 times, once at the back, once in the middle, once in the front, as we place it next to this font, we say to you, the light of Christ. And you remember how you respond? Thanks be to God. So, let's try it. The light of Christ. And at every baptism, a candle similar to this, without this cute little red cup, is given to those who are baptized. And with it, we say these words after lighting it from the light of Christ. May your light so shine, may your light so shine before others that they may see your good works and give glory to our Father in heaven. Those words or similar words were spoken to you. May your light so shine before others that they may see your good works and give glory to our Father who's in heaven. Our gospel text today says to us, you are the light of the world. You reflect the light of Christ because of your baptism into his death and resurrection. You carry that light with you. You are light. You reflect the light of Jesus day in and day out. Mother Teresa, you remember her a long time ago? Great nun, lived in India. Some nuns from this country went to visit her one time, and they asked her, sister or mother, what's going on here? How can you have your order be such a success when in the United States the orders are kind of going downhill? What is it? And Mother Teresa simply looked at her and said, I give them Jesus. Well, yeah, we understand that, but Mother, I don't understand because you require of your order that they wear habits. In our country, they're giving them all up. They wouldn't have anything to do with habits. And yet, your order is such a success. How? I give them Jesus. Well, Mother, look, you require such service of them 24/7 in the worst places of the world, and yet women continue to flock to your order. In our order, they're expecting to work 9 to 5. How do you do it? I give them Jesus. I know, Mother, but there must be something else. And Mother Teresa, in all seriousness, looks and says, I give them Jesus. There is nothing else. You are the light of Christ. You, like Mother Teresa, give them Jesus. That's who we are. That's what we've been commissioned to do. You are light to the world. And that light is Jesus. So what does that look like? To give them Jesus. To be light in the world. Not many years ago, a sociology professor at a university in Baltimore challenged his doctoral students to go out and do some research. Sent them into the slums of Baltimore to interview 200 young men. And they had a whole questionnaire that they were to ask these young men, which they faithfully did. Their job then was to come back and analyze the research, the data. And their concluding question to this research was to be, evaluate the potential future of this young man. All 200 of them, after researching through the data, every student declared that all 200 boys had not a chance for success. Not a chance. 25 years later, another professor at that same university discovered in the archives this research and decided he would try and follow up on it. So he sent his doctoral students out to locate these 200 young men. 180 of them were found, and 176 of them were successful. All of them supposedly had not a chance. But 176 of the 180 they found had, by the world's standards, succeeded in life. They had prominent jobs, good incomes. Imagine, not a chance. So what this professor did was went and asked all of these young men, now 25 years older, what do you attribute your success to? And every one of them began their story with these words. There was a teacher. And all of these young men had attended the same school, and all of them gave credit to the same teacher. So the professor decided to try and track down the teacher, who at that point was 94 years old, but still had her faculties about her. And when he went and visited, he told her this story. All of them credit you with their success. What did you do? And her simple answer was, I love those boys. I loved those boys. She saw in them potential. She saw in them a human being that could be loved. When the rest of the world said these boys had no chance, she saw in them potential. Now, my friends, there was once another teacher who also loved his students and saw possibilities and potential in them. And he said to them, you are the light of the world. And so they became. And it is because those disciples, those students of Jesus, loved by him. They're a ragtime bunch of folks, guys. They're not the educated bunch. These are fishermen. And Jesus saw potential in them and sent them out and said, you are the light of the world. And it's because of them that you and I are here today. And it's because of us that future generations will be here too. Because we took Jesus to them. We are the light of the world. There's a commercial out now. It took me a little while yesterday to figure out what the commercial was for. You know, commercials where you remember the commercial but not the product. This was one of those for me. But you'll recognize the commercial when I tell you about it. There's a woman standing there. All you see is her back. And she's looking in the distance. And the words are, your eyes, even at a distance of 10 miles, the length of 146 football fields, they can see the light of a single candle. Now that happens to be an ad for Centrum Silver. But imagine that. I did some research on this, by the way, and they tell me that your eyes, if the globe was flat, that your eyes could see up to 30 miles, see the light of one candle. 30 miles. Now, the curvature of the earth prevents us from seeing that after about 3 miles. But they say if it were flat, you could see this. And the commercial tells us it's 10 miles away. 146 football fields. Do you think the world can see the light of Christ at that distance? Or even closer to home? I think they can. Our light does make a difference in the world that we live in. Some of you have heard this story before. It happens to be one of my favorites. It's a story about a woman named Anna Schilling. It was a tourist who went to Germany, and as she toured around, she ended up one evening in an old Saxon town, and her hotel happened to be right on the old town square. And as she began to settle in, she took out her tour guide and she began to read all about this town. And suddenly she heard the church bells ringing. And she'd read in her brochure all about the old castle church, which had been standing in that town since long before the Reformation. She looked out the window and she noticed people beginning to travel through the square, all in the same direction, and all carrying something in their hands. She couldn't tell exactly what, but it looked like they were carrying lanterns. So her curiosity got the best of her. She put her coat on, she went out, she joined the crowd as they began to walk to the old castle church. On the steps outside the church, she stopped one woman and said, "Tell me, what are you carrying?" And she said, "Oh, these are lanterns." "Why are you all carrying them?" "Oh, back in the days of the Reformation, our Duke gave lanterns to every family in the town, and we have passed them on to one another for generations now. We light them from the candle that we'll find in the narthex when we go in." And as they went in, sure enough, everyone stopped to light their lantern from a single candle. And as everyone went to their pews, they found in their pews lampstands upon which to place their lanterns. And as visitors will do, this woman slipped into the back pew. And as good Lutherans will also do, slip into back pews. But she slipped into that back pew and noticed that it was really quite dark. And in the dim light, she could read on the front of the pew here a little plaque that said, "Anna Schilling." And she thought to herself, "Anna Schilling, your light is missing. This little portion of this little church in this little town is missing your light. The illumination, the clarity that comes with light. Anna Schilling, your light is missing." One candle, one light makes an impact. One light, seen from 10 miles away. One light in the back corner of a church. Your light can be seen, my friends. You bear the light of Christ day in and day out. People can see it, even at a distance, in what you say and in what you do. So let your light so shine before others that they may see your good works and give glory to our Father who's in heaven, because you are the light of the world. Amen.